All right, that's the last week. You guys got to listen to that. I promise. I'm going to come up with something else. We can talk about that here in a little bit. How you doing, Lyle?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Good.
I'm tired.
Lyle's got a new mic, so we're trying to get it all adjusted and tuned in right. Say something
Yeah,
to us, Lyle.
something.
Welcome everybody to the show. How about that?
Welcome everybody to the show. I hope it worked out. Um, the on my other one, which I thought worked all right, all the rubber band things that hold it in the center up so that they all come undone. It fell down and it got to where it was vibrating inside there when you talk. It's on a steel deal. I said, well, we got to do something about that.
And I'm heartbroken you didn't call me. I could have helped you.
Probably so. Well, I got to
Mm.
swear. The this is in what 11 or 12 years now. Something I've been doing these things. This is only the third one, so I
I
can't
had
really complain too much.
I had one of them snowball ones. I forget what they're
I
called.
had one of those. That's what I
Yeah,
started with.
yeah, it worked pretty good, except when I had Coco, who used to be behind me, when she was snoring, it would pick her up.
Yeah, they pick up everything.
That everybody liked that in the chat and stuff, but this one works a little better. This one kind of just stays on my voice, and you don't hear much voice. Like right now, the air conditioner, my neighbor's air conditioner kicked on. I bet you nobody heard that. So
I didn't, I didn't hear it at all. So
there you go. It's good. So I went fishing today, Lyle.
let's hear about it.
I went first time on the Fox in a long time. It felt good to be back on my home waters. Ain't gonna lie. But I figured, why not make it more difficult and chase a fish that I don't chase on my home waters, which was walleye. So I took what information that Jerry shared with me up in Mendota and applied it here through some what do they call those flicker sheds, Berkeley ones, and the number 4, because I was fishing in about 5 feet of water. Dragged them behind the boat. I got a new rod and reel this weekend just for that reason. I picked up what is it, a St. Croix walleye icon trolling rod, which is kind of neat. It collapses, Lyle. Have you ever seen those
I have.
rods? So, like, if you're using planer boards, you can collapse them if you're fishing by yourself. So, I'm glad I got that, and I got a Nokuma line counter, low profile reel. They worked out pretty good. I should buy a second one, but I don't want to spend that kind of money times 2 just yet. Maybe I'll ask for it from Santa Sheila for Christmas, and we'll see if we can get on that.
Give me her phone number. I'll help you out with that.
I think you got it already. I'm sure somebody has it for sure.
It's not.
But we got out there, and it was pretty windy today. It wasn't horrible, but it was windy enough. River's just a little high, so I was trolling at about 2 miles an hour, 2.2. But my 24-volt trolling motor, the batteries burnt up about after 3 hours, something like that. It was not burnt up, but they wore out. So I switched over to the big motor for like a half hour, and I kind of been meaning to do that because there's the troll control on those ProCraft gauges that I have, and it worked pretty good. It got me down to about 2 miles an hour, and we did good. I got 2 keepers, lost a couple of nice ones at the boat when I doubled up twice, caught a couple of dinks. I even got a channel cat at 2.2 miles an hour. That little sucker couldn't have been 11 inches long, but he still chased that crankbait down and took a bite out of it.
That's
Pretty
great.
hearty bite too. I was kind of surprised to see that.
Good deal.
Well,
Well,
that kind of
there
has
might
me
be.
thinking when I'm dragging baits, I might want to step the speed up a little bit and see what happens.
I know some guys that do a lot of tournament fishing, and if they are dragging bait and not having any success, and they're not going to do anything else, that's how they find fish and adjust the stuff is speed up and down.
That's
Now,
pretty much what I did.
everybody says, "Well, you got to go this speed or that speed for this species." I'm going to tell you something. In my opinion, for what it's worth, if you go out and you're pulling baits, dragging baits, whatever it is that you're doing, you're bumping, and it doesn't make any difference. Them fish go out and grab what they eat every day. it doesn't slow down to 0.3 miles an hour or to a half a mile, or it doesn't speed up to 2 miles an hour just to suit their fancy. They get what's there at whatever speed it's coming through,
Yep.
and that's how they feed themselves. So, how important is it really?
I don't. I was using shad colored um flicker shads, but the shad color profiles and size are probably like a this year's hatch. So I'm thinking that had a lot to do with it. And shad are pretty quick. If you throw a cast net, you know that them suckers can move.
They will. They'll just run right out from underneath one, and so will Asian carp and walleye.
Mm-hmm.
Regular carp, I'm not sure is smart enough to get out of the way because it seems like I always get some of them in the net and gar.
Man,
But that's another story.
I saw so many carp today. If I wanted to be a social media carp superstar, I know exactly the spots to do it too. It's incredible how many I saw launch themselves out of the water today. It's something to see, that's for sure.
Right. And now, on my point I was making about them catching fish at all speeds, the advantage to slowing bait down is you present it to them and get it in their face faster, sooner, for a longer period of time, mainly. And I think that's the reason why people want to slow them down. But like I say, if there's one swimming by, it don't slow down and say, "Come here and catch me." It just keeps it going. It's trying to outrun them to start with. So that's just my.
I can totally see that for sure. Even look at this. Matt says that flicker shad are slaying walleyes right now on the Spring River in Arkansas. Yeah, that flicker shad. Oh, and everybody, you can thank me later. Berkeley is actually having their Father's Day sale on their website. Free shipping on orders over $20 or $25. And like those flicker shit, I got them for like $1 a piece off. So like $6.50 or $6.99, one or the other, which is probably $1 off. And you can't beat that price. So if you're into that kind of thing and you're looking to buy one of them, they got a bunch of sizes and a bunch of colors. Go get you some. I just placed an order without you, Lyle.
I was going to say, dude, I need to call James and him and I help you place an order tonight after the show.
I might have to go on there and get some more of the shad colored ones just to have spares.
I'll be
And the
glad to
two
help
different.
you out with that. Throw the dust off that credit card, dude.
I better not talk too loud. Mrs. CNC might hear me, so I got to keep quiet.
How about what do you say we get everybody into the show by announcing who's in chat?
I can do that, but I see 217 Rebel Outdoors in the house. What's going on? 922 Crappie Barbecue. Benoit Fishing Outdoors. How you doing? Crappie Day Fish On, which is a channel supporter. We appreciate your support. There's our buddy Creole Catfishing. How you doing, Jeremy? Good show yesterday with the kids. I was watching, kind of chilling out on the couch. So I wasn't chatting, but I was watching. Danny Stone Outdoors. How you doing, Danny? What's up, buddy? Eric Massey Jig Company. He's been slaying it. If you guys are looking for a guide or some jigs, Eric's your man to call. Is he on Pompetier?
Who's that, Eric?
Eric.
That's who he usually fishes, but he goes to Truman, Lake Ozark.
Truman, I think he's been fishing a lot too. I saw him fishing live with some crankbaits too. That kind of got me moving and inspired to go out there and do that. I got to order some of the ones he was using too.
I can help you with that too.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. But he was catching crappie on like 200 and 300, I think 200 size or 300 size. They're kind of good. Good fish. So
he was on Stockton yesterday.
Yeah. Was he? Okay. What's up, Freddie, over at FOA Customs and Gear? Freddie, I put your gear to work in Mendota, just so you know. This is the first chance I've gotten to tell you. Stuff worked effortlessly. Greg Burgess in the house. Lance McCougai, what's up, Lance? How you doing, bud? Mike Irvin in the house. How you doing, bud? Off the Hook Outdoors. What's up, bud? Rowdy Royals here. There's my buddy, the graying, the ever-aging grandpa, Ryan Bortz.
Ryan's been killing it on the catfish stuff here lately.
He sure has. Want to be outdoors. What's up, man? How you doing? And Worm Dunkers in the house. If we missed you, we'll catch up with you sometime during the show. But we appreciate you for being here.
Absolutely do. But yeah, Ryan, he's been busy traveling around fishing, doing all kinds of stuff. Had a new video out. Watched it the other day. There's a lot of new videos that are out right now. So if you're looking for something to do and you don't want to watch the general stuff that's on TV, there's a lot of good videos that you can be checking.
I don't even have TV. Don't even watch it. It's all garbage anyways, but we can get into that on the political show we should start, Lyle. How long do you think that'd last before
It'll last once.
Once at least.
It's kind of like my brother asked me when he went to Colorado elk hunting with me. He said, "Can I shoot off that horse?" I said, "You can shoot off of it once." I never trained horses to shoot off of. I trained them to get me in and out safely without an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, you're brave enough to fire it off. It's up to you, buddy.
That doesn't sound like it'd be a fun landing off a horse's back. That's for sure.
Well, they were shot around a lot, so I don't know if it'd have been a bad deal or not, but I wasn't going to try. Not that far from home.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan there. Who has time for TV anyways? Ryan did I think he broke his kayak too. I was sorry to see that happen. It's gotta be rough.
Ray Smith, remember 15 months. Thank you so much, Ray. We appreciate you very much. Oh man. Set a new record this past weekend. Most times slipping on the muddy bank and not going. How can that be right, Danny? Oh my.
Hey, here's Ryan over at Setting Hooks and Crossing Eyes. What's going on? I think he got on a couple of flathead, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of whizzed through my feed on Instagram. He was on them. I saw my buddy Eric B. He got on a couple of good ones. Jonathan, I think, got his first 40 of the year. I saw on social media today while I was out fishing, while out trolling. So congratulations to all them guys. I love to see them getting on some fish. So
I have a question before we get started with our topic. Is it me, or is every species of fish doing their spawn ritual early this
year? You know what? I don't know, Lyle. That's a good question. I've asked myself that a lot, just from my experiences. You know, in the springtime, we know that fish go shallow. They're leaving the depths. They're looking for food. They're looking for cover, forage. They're looking for weed lines, things like that. But it seems like it happened a little early this year.
I think catfish are early. I watched a pig and grub video just a little bit ago before we started the show that he put out. He's got catching males with spawn marks that have been beat up real bad. Now, you won't catch a male unless you're attacking his nest or he's done. This would be really, really early for him to be done.
Yeah, I don't know about blue cats. I know flathead, it's water temperature driven. Today we had 65 degrees on the river, so we're not even close. It's also driven by the moon phase, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we might be safe. Flathead usually go in for a month in the middle of summer. And when I say month, they're not gone the whole month. They kind of take turns spawning. You know, couple go this week, next week, and so on. I don't know the science behind it. There's people that probably know better than that. But from my experience and my best guess, that's what I'm going to say, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I was really shocked to see them fish brutally beat up in that video like it was. Crappie Day Fish On says Oklahoma got a new record flathead, 95 pounds, if you read it. That's a great fish. That is a great fish.
Man, I'd have that sucker on a wall behind me. At least a replica, I should say.
Yeah, a replica. I would do that for sure.
Speaking of that, Lyle, did you see on social media today, on Facebook mostly, even on TikTok, I happened to see some on there when I was scrolling through there, that everybody's bringing to attention pay lakes, catfish pay lakes. I want to make sure that we talked about that too and how bad it is, and remind everybody to do what they can. If you see some of them links out there on whatever social media app you use, go ahead and share them out. Let's spread the word and do that, because I hate the fact that these people are taking a natural resource that I feel they don't have a right to profit off of.
I agree with that.
In that, now don't get this wrong, in that way. We can get into an argument about whether they should be, selling it for food or whatever, but
That's not the same thing as
not at all.
a commercial fisherman that goes out and harvests fish to sell to people to eat is not the same thing as a guy that goes out there and takes them fish out of the water and sells them to a pay lake to be caught 3 or 4 times before they die and then put in a dumpster where nobody benefits from. And in the meantime, they throw chemicals in the water to make them hungry so they'll bite people's bait so the people can actually catch them. And when they catch them, the heads are gigantic and the bodies are real skinny. So they don't feed them. They don't get nothing to eat.
Yep.
That's wrong. I don't give a damn what anybody says. It's wrong. And but you started this, so now I'm gonna tell you something. Years and years ago, I worked with 9 states and found out everything you had to do to get them regulations that guys want. I made a post on Facebook, told them exactly how to do it. And nobody wanted to do it that way. They wanted to cuss the people that make the laws. You can't do that. It's politics. If you can't play the political game, keep your mouth shut and get out of it. Now, after that was put up there and they made fun of me for making that post, about 2 years later, a guy come up and he said, "Would you post that again? I think people need to read that." So I went through all this and done it again and the same stuff. They don't want to wait and give it the time to do it the correct way. So they're doing all this other stuff, which will never work, and you're never going to get regulations put in effect. I told you how to do it. I told you twice. Listen, and now I won't help you do it at all. I don't care who wants help getting it done. I'm through trying to help you because I told you exactly how to do it, and I won't help you no more. So whatever happens to regulations, it ain't on me.
It's just like you said, it's all politics. And if
is.
you know anything about politics, it's give and take. So
Very much so.
pick your battles wisely, go about them in the right way, and hopefully you'll get what you need out of the agreement that you come to when you're making those kind of deals and offers and
That's
getting
right. I
petitions
was on the
signed.
phone with those people in them states weekly, talked with them on a first name basis. When the Missouri Department of Conservation needed to get regulations passed to make stuff for Truman Lake Ozark, all of the rivers down or the lakes down here, they're trying to get all that stuff put into effect. They called me up and wanted to know if I would go, and I talked in front of the House of Representatives up there and explained to them in a way they understood why we needed them regulations, and they got passed. And I offered that to all them places, and some of them would have done some of it, but they just got so tired of being rode like horses. They've just locked up, and they're not going to do anything. It'll take years now and different people in offices to get that stuff done. It's just the way it is. Those people don't have to put up with that. They're not going to. And if you think that's going to work, you need to find you another hobby.
Persistence doesn't hurt, but you can be a pain in the ass. Pardon my French, Lyle. Ask our buddy Luke Henges, because he was parting getting some laws changed up in Minnesota where you could go from 1 rod to 2 finally, and now they're working on changing the classification of regular carp so they could use them for bait because they're still an invasive species, and now it's a normalized invasive species everywhere except Minneapolis. Or Minnesota. I was talking to him about that a little bit, and he says that's about to change, so they'll be able to use that for bait too. So,
well, you see, one of the things people think that common carp are a natural fish, and they're not. They was brought over from Europe.
Yep.
They didn't used to be any carp in the United States of America or North America for that matter. And they brought them over here, and they're everywhere now. You can't stop them. Just like the Asian carp. And I'm telling you, they brought them over for studies, and whoever brought them over here, they should be made to spend the rest of their life for free trying to eradicate them and do nothing else for a living. That was a huge hit on everything we do. Now they've become a natural food source for our blue catfish and flatheads and channel cat. The only problem is they grow so fast that they get too big that they can't eat them, and then that's when they end up in your boat, knocking you down, hurting you, sending you to the hospital, and all that stuff. But those people had no reason They brought them over because they thought they could do like grass carp and eat algae and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need them. We already had grass carp. We didn't need that crap. Them people should be punished. Death sentence would be too good for what they've done because they get more people hurt every day or every year with them Asian carp jumping in the boat and knocking people out of boats, hitting them upside the head, hurting them bad, and nothing was ever done to those folks. Nothing.
And not to mention the damage it does to the ecosystem.
Oh,
Hopefully they'll eventually get normalized, but it's going to take long time, probably
not in
a
our
lot
life.
longer than you and I will be around to
Yeah,
see it.
exactly.
So I had a couple people pop back in here. Pop in here. I saw Chad pop in here. What's going on? Chad Fields the Water. He's giving us the eyeballs. There's Keith Doc Reed. What's going on, Keith? How you doing? Let's see what else we got here. I think I got the people that just popped in. Thanks for showing up, folks. So, Lyle,
Sir,
finding new fishing spots.
I have something to share with people that most probably already know. Up in the air. Welcome. One of the best things to do if you're looking for new, especially if you're in a strange area or even in the area you grew up in but you're not that familiar with it, Navionics is a great tool. What is the other thing that I can't think of the name of it?
Navionics is a good one. Onyx is a good one, but that's geared towards hunting. I did
shows the world and all that stuff where you figure it out.
Oh, Google Earth.
Google Earth.
That's a good one.
That is, you got to have that in your hip pocket. You can pick out, say, the Niagara River, which is a river that and you can take where it starts out by Lake Ozark and expand the screen on your computer and take your mouse and just follow it down. And you can see where there's roads across. Well, where there's roads across means it's a bridge. A lot of times it'll be a walkway to get down there or a boat ramp. You see all of that stuff. Now, it takes a little time to do that, but you can find things. Another way is just if whatever browser you got, just type in fishing places close to me. You will be amazed at what will pop up just by doing that. Your computer or phone is your friend when you're looking for places.
Yeah, you ain't joking. And another thing I wanted to add to that Google Earth, you can also go back in time any date you want, Lyle.
Yes.
So if you want to see, what the weed growth was like this time last year or the year before last, before you head out to a lake, to do so. And the reason why I mentioned that is because you had mentioned earlier about we've had a very mild winter, which we did. Well, what happens up here is the ice doesn't get real thick, so the weeds don't die off because they're still getting sunlight most of the winter. So a lot of our lakes up here are starting to get overgrown very, very early.
Really?
Yeah, and I was kind of snooping around on Google Earth the other night, and I definitely saw a big difference because I was wondering what a place was going to be like that I was going to go today, and I decided not to. So, but yeah, you can use that too, so you can check it out at all different seasons to see what it looks like. Now, as far as like boat ramps and stuff is concerned, the Navionics web app will show you where a lot of the boat ramps are. And if you got a Navionics subscription that goes with your fish finder, you just got to turn on services, I think it's called, and it'll show them right in your boat where all the ramps are and stuff. And if you have that on your phone as well, it'll show you that too. It does an excellent job. I just unhid all that stuff in my boat and I can see anything and everything. I can even see places to go have an adult beverage on mine, Lyle.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. My Navionics for the lakes down here, when you put in your boat, it shows every boat ramp and you can enlarge it. And you can do this on your computer. It'll show you the names of them. It shows you where the buoys are at, which does that on river. And surprisingly accurate if they have been run over by a couple bars.
Well, that's you. Are you talking about on the Mississippi though, Lyle? Because I know on a smaller river here, like on mine, it doesn't show the buoys. I was just complaining to myself about that today.
Oh, it does. It does on the Mississippi, Missouri, and a lot of the bigger. And like I say, unless they've been run over, like the Illinois River, we was over at a tournament one day, and here come a big old barge. He whacked one, just run it right underneath him. I said, "Man, don't they understand him about them buoys?" He said, "Don't care. They use them for target practice." And while we was there, 3 or 4 of them hit them. I couldn't believe it. But on the Mississippi and Missouri and stuff like that, unless they've been run over or a flooded situation has caused them to move, they're pretty well where it says they're supposed to be. Pretty impressive, you know.
That would be awfully handy to have at night. And I wouldn't be one to say that some of those bar drivers might be a little sleepy when they're driving too. So that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. Or eating.
Yeah. Oh, Lyle, are we going to start talking about food already? You know,
Little bit.
Chad gets upset when we talk
I
about
know.
food. Gives us a bunch of grief. I didn't get too upset about him talking about footwear for 40 minutes, the one show you guys had. So, you know, he's listening.
No. But yeah, that's one of my favorite ways to do it. Another way to find, if you have an older friend that has been around a while, he probably knows it. He might.
You and I don't have any older friends. We're as old as
Not
it gets.
many.
So well.
It's that we've lived here for what, 9 years now. It is really hard for me to do anything other than the lakes because we have so many lakes and they're so good places to fish. But sometimes you just don't want to take the boat out. You want to go catch bait or whatever. And there is a lot of places, but it's like everything else. Everything's a long way from me. It doesn't matter where we go. So, little creeks, small rivers, and stuff like that. We don't have down here the access to small lakes like James has got up north. The conservation department has a lot of really good places to go up there, and that's another good place to find out. Just get on the conservation website and ask them, or type in. That stuff will pop up a lot of times. If you where's a close place to me, if something will pop up. Send them a message. They will tell you. They will give you advice on places to go. Conservation department down here doesn't have as many lakes as they do up north for whatever reason. I don't know why that is, but maybe they just don't have the access to the property to put them in effect. But there is some. But up north, Missouri seems like there's a lot more of them, and there's a lot of little rivers up north too. And I know James fishes some of them. My buddy John Nordike used to live up there, and he fished a lot of them little rivers and stuff because a lot of times he went by himself. He didn't want to get out on Mississippi by himself. And I
Small
understand.
river and creek fishing is pretty cool. I went and did a little creek fishing yesterday when I was looking for bait. I actually what kind of brought this show to mind is I went to a couple of new spots to see about catching bluegill at and such, and I got fortunate. I hit one pretty good. I got lucky with that one, but I have to say the creek spot that I went to is probably one of my favorite places, but they just weren't in there. So it's always good to have, multiple places to go, not too far apart. And other than like using Google Maps or Google Earth and all of that other stuff, one of my favoriteest best things to do, like I was at that creek yesterday, and the kids just got out of school. Lyle, some people like it, some people don't, but they get out of school. And what happens in this area is they're out fishing. A lot of the boys around here, and some of the ladies, I'm not being sexist, don't put that on me, but yesterday it was 3 young gentlemen that were out there bass fishing, and you get to talking and you tell them where to find bass and they'll tell me where to find bluegill. It's kind of, tit for tat, you're trading information off. So just don't be asking people for info. I guess what I'm saying is, go find a couple of spots and you could always use them to barter and trade for other spots. I do that quite a bit too.
That's a great idea.
I also got a line on a bullhead spot from them that I need to check out loud.
Sweet. Yeah, you'll need some of them. Up in the air, outdoors, says I've seen drunks hit on pontoons, jump buoys late at night. They stay sideways for months and sometimes years.
I would never do that, Lyle.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
At least not for 20 years now.
Oh man, that's funny though.
Hey, there's our buddy Sean T Outdoors. I did think, and you did say hello to Aaron. We've seen him in here. Who else did I see? I saw Frank from Twisted Fishing
Yep.
Outdoors. What's going on, Frank? How you doing, bud? Twisted Fishing TV, my bad. So
Glad to see all you guys in here tonight.
So yeah, that's a good thing. So be friendly to people that you're fishing by. I know a lot of guys that don't like fishing where there's people and stuff, and consider it, a social event or you'd be surprised the kind of people and how nice everybody is, and they'll be more than happy to swap not only stories with you but spots to fish. So
Yeah, a lot of them will.
100%. Another thing that I like to do, Lyle, is I like to go for a drive every now and then. In the summer, back when I was first starting flathead fishing, I put a lot of miles on my vehicle. Just driving through neighborhoods, I would look at Google Maps and see where there's water. I would go into a lot of these newer subdivisions where they were digging ponds or where they dug ponds. Go check them out, take a look at them, make a list of them in my head if I'm driving around with my wife or whatever when I go by one to go back there. And I spent a lot of time just fishing them, just spending time.
Yep.
There's a little creek over here that I still get some bait from every now and then, and it's been so covered. I've been in this house for 27 years. I didn't even know there was one there.
Huh.
But it's on my list to check out in the next couple of weeks here. So
Absolutely welcome, Dawson. Glad to see you made it in tonight. There's a guy that catches a lot of crappie.
he does.
He catches a lot of crappie.
There's Damn River Boys. What's going on? How you doing? Just find the water and fish it. A lot of the ponds that I fish around here when I go pan fishing are resident only ones. But I'll pull that old man card and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the sign."
Yeah.
He let you slide. I'll pull that card every now and then. There's a place over here in Huntley, Illinois called Sun City, and it's a 55 and older community, so I don't get to go there yet, Lyle. I got a year before I can move in there. But you got to know somebody to get in there. And I know a couple of people that fish in there, and the pictures they send me, my goodness, Lyle, they got huge panfish in that place. Everything from rock bass, green sunfish, huge bluegills. It just seems like it'd be a good place to do. So I did know somebody there for a little while, but at the time they moved out of there. So if anybody out there listening in podcast land or in chat, if you know anybody in Del Webb, yep, exactly. Look at this. Ryan knows what I'm talking about. Anybody knows anybody there that wants to have me as a guest, I'd be more than happy.
Oh, I can go over to this place and say, "Hey, Ryan told me it was okay if I fished it."
You could try that. It'd be like, Ryan who?
Oh man, I can't find places like that. I'm sure that they're around here, but I've looked and I like driving around looking for stuff like that. But it doesn't take very long of driving around and not finding what I'm looking for. I end up at one of the lakes. So I got it.
Here's a good one right here that Aaron brings up. He says golf course ponds have big bluegills. My buddy's son, who just congratulations, Josh, just graduated um from college with his master's. He's going back for his doctorate. Real smart kid. He comes back from school and works at a golf course here, and he goes out there and he fishes those golf course ponds, and he says they're great. I've just never taken the time to go fishing with him over there. Maybe I'll have to do that this year before he's no longer working at the golf course. So.
Yeah, no kidding.
And there's Sean T. He must be feeling well. I was starting to worry about him. He hadn't insulted me the whole show, and it's already 34 minutes into it, but there we go.
Matt says, "Mark, just tell him your grandfathered in, literally."
You know what? I ain't too proud to fib my way into a fishing spot, Matt. Don't think that.
I find that very entertaining.
Setting hooks across the eye says, when I was in high school, I used to tint windows for automobiles and houses. I tinted a lot of homes in there because the sun was so bright. Thermostats would get hot, and the rest of the house would too. Okay, cool. 25 years ago. So he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm sure. But I do. I enjoy going to them places and looking around and finding places. you can get addicted to Navionics and websites like that looking for fish. I have spent days, one right after the other, looking at places on the rivers that I wanted to go tournament. You can do the same thing if you're not catching the bluegill or crappie that you're looking for, because you can blow that stuff up to like you're almost right there. And you can see cars and trucks and boats and people, and if it looks good and nobody's fishing it, you're going, why isn't somebody in this spot? Well, probably they can't get to it without a boat. So, like I say, you can get very addicted to trying to find places if you're not very careful. But Navionics is it's very good. Google Earth is really good too.
Want to be outdoors? Matt says Navionics raised their membership price a little pricey now. You know, Matt, if you go on in the browser, they got it for free on the Navionics site. Just look at Chart Viewer, and you can get in there for free and look at it. If you want to use the app or whatever, yes, I believe it's X amount of dollars every year.
I don't remember how much it went up to.
I haven't paid for it for a while since I started using Garmin Electronics, because when I get my maps renewed on there, I just go through Active Captain, and it's the same thing on there. So, and also I get to look at my waypoints and drop waypoints if I want. Wow. Aaron says I'm getting addicted to night crawlers this time of year.
Yeah. I had some big ones out crawling across my driveway the other night. Couldn't find a thing to put in. Ate it. Frank says Al Capone and the Chicago gangsters had summer homes in his area lake. That's a fun fact. The Dillinger gang robbed our police station. Wow. Thinking about our lakes made me remember that. That's funny, Frank. Robbed the police station.
Capone had a house right here on the Fox River, actually.
Sweet.
Yep, Capone's Hideaway right there. Dan Thompson, channel member, welcome. Thanks for coming in, bud.
It's funny how a criminal like Al Capone gets such notoriety, 100 and some years after he's gone.
Well, you know, have Geraldo dig up one of your hotels and not find anything. That'll help you along too. Remember that mess, Lyle?
Kinda, yeah. I think he's kind of done. Fox News had him on the 5 for a while, but I think they've kind of scooped him off to the wayside.
I'm biting my tongue. I ain't saying nothing. I'm reeling it in.
Worst kid, and it's real. That's funny right there.
Another resource that I like to use is the DNR website here in Illinois. Our DNR website has stocking reports. They're usually a little older, but they work. They'll say, you know, what the report was stocked a year or two prior. They'll tell you they got the whole state divided up into sections, so you can click on any section, like where you live or where you're headed, and take a look at all the lakes in the area and click on them. And they say what fish is available, and for the most part, they're right. They might miss something here or something there, but it's definitely a good resource. I use that quite a bit.
Like I say, you'd be surprised if you just typed in, because your computer or phone knows where you're at. Just type in places to fish close to me. You'd be shocked at how many places are popping up.
There's another site called Lake Link that used to be a lot bigger before social media exploded here a few years ago, but it's still out there and people still do post from time to time. And if they don't, for that particular body of water, you can see a history of it. That's information's all the way out there. I'll show you where boat ramps are as well. It's a free resource, and people chat on there. Up here, a lot of guys that do ice fishing go on there for the most part, but you know, the same fish are in there in the winter as they are in the summer. It's just having to find them. So that's a good resource. I use that quite a bit. Now, as far as like the Wisconsin site, I haven't don't like it as much as I do the Illinois, believe it or not. It's just a little hard to navigate and stuff. But it has the same kind of information too. So I was looking at a couple of lakes like Lake Geneva up there, Lake Delavan, stuff like that here just recently. That was one of the places I was considering going this week or next week, but we'll see if I can find out some more information before I go there. That Lake Geneva is a big lake, big deep lake. I think it's 100 plus 120 feet deep in certain spots. So I wouldn't even know how to fish that, but they got big lake trout in there, and they got huge trout that if you're using jigging spoons in the summer, you can get on them fish. But I wouldn't keep anything of that size. They got some real big fish in there, Lyle.
Sweet. That would be okay. Well, that's other than people on the internet or online helping you, friends and stuff in these shows and different things that'll help you find places. That about is how I find out. I really Google Earth and Navionics. My friend.
I'm just always looking whenever I'm out, especially if it's going someplace that I haven't been before, going a different route, change the way you go to places. You're going to come across places to fish. Definitely. I spent 2 years going up and down that Fox River looking for bank spots to fish. A lot of public stuff that I can't. Well, there isn't a lot of public stuff, but come across the public stuff, come across some not so public stuff. Tried to make. Acquaintances with people who had access to the water. That kind of helps too. You got to
Yeah,
get out. You got to get out there, and you got to make yourself visible in the fishing community, at least locally, for sure. It's all fine and dandy, making friends online and stuff. But if you're not making friends locally, it doesn't do you any good.
that's right.
And you don't have people to fish with as often as you could if you had them locally too. So
Yep, I agree 100%. But it is what it is, and there's plenty of places to fish. One of the places that I haven't ever bothered, there's at the boat ramp, one of the places that I go up on Lake Ozark, they have a public dock. I can't believe Doctor hadn't found it so he could beat the roof off of it yet, but regardless, they have a public dock up there, and it's I've seen people on it several times, and once or twice there was a lot of people on it, but most of the time there's very few people, if any, on it. And we found it going around catching bait, because there's a lot of shad in that cove, and man, it's just around the end of the, from where we launch, and I think, God, man, there's a walkway down to it. I walked down there and looked at it. You can walk right out on this dock, and it's solid, it's good shape, place is set. Uh, there's also one of them on Palm de Terre, which is a pay place, but it's on a dock at the state park marina, and there's a boat ramp there, and you can pay them. I think it's $2 a day, and them people catch a lot of crappie off that. And I go and launch the boat and set the cove where that's at and catch bluegill because there's tons of them, and I don't know why, but they're there, and I don't care why, as long as I can catch them. So places like that, Navionics will show you. So, what?
Ryan says Google first, Navionics second, Google third. There you go. And then then I put the Garmin on it. There you go. That's a good thing about having that stuff in your boat and stuff. You can pre-plan your
Yeah,
outings and stuff. And now that I got the Garmin trolling motor, I can set up routes and all sorts of neat stuff, which is pretty cool. When I go fishing on this one lake up here north on the chain, I got all the brush piles marked up, which I use Navionics for a few of them, and then the other ones I found myself. I can just kind of point and click my way to it, and while my boat's taking me there on autopilot mode, I'm getting rigged up ready to fish. So
yeah,
that's pretty
I
cool.
like that too. That's real handy. Uh, I there is some advantages to a lot of the new technology. There is some things that I don't like about it, but that's with anything. I don't care what it is.
Well,
But
especially something like that, you can multitask because you're going to
yeah,
waste if you're not pre-rigging at home and stuff, or you don't have time to pre-rig at home. Where are you going to do it? You're going to do it on the water, and you're going to rob yourself of time from fishing, from having your baits in the water, your lines in the water, and such. So, if you can use something like that, not that it's worth the money just for that reason, but it definitely helps
it
100%.
does. It does. Now, right now in my garage is probably 10 catfish rods set up, rigged, ready to go. Probably that many panfish rods set up, rigged, ready to go. But most of them will come home not like that. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you either got to fix them before you do, or like I say, fix them up in a boat. And that autopilot is a wonderful thing.
It
It
is.
is.
Well, it takes finding new fishing spots takes time, just like getting your gear ready or pouring jigs or whatever it is you do that keeps your head in the game or keeps your interest in the hobby going. I spent all day Sunday after we hit Cabela's here when I bought that trolling setup. Once I got that set up, I noticed that I needed to move all my catfish gear around, re-rig, my crappie and my bluegill stuff that I had in my boat. Uh, it's never ending. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about.
Yeah, I do. I do. And of course, if you tie jigs and stuff, there's boxes and boxes and boxes. Then you got to decide which one to take or how many. I know a guy that's got stacks of them, maybe more than that.
Yeah, I'd say just a little more, huh? Danny Stone Outdoor says, I've always avoided Illinois because of their politics, but Dunnigan and Parker have gotten me over their fishing. Gotta admit, it's pretty darn impressive. This Lyle likes to give me a hard time, and Chad likes to give me a hard time, and even Dunnigan likes to give me a hard time, even though he lives in Illinois. The politics are horrible. Taxes
They
kind of
are.
stink, but it's a good state. I can't
Yeah,
complain. Other
people,
than
not necessarily.
that, what'd you say?
I said it has good people in it, not necessarily
Yeah,
politics. I can tell you how to make it better.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, if all of them would vote Democrat or Republican, it's all.
We'll have a talk about this after the show, Lyle. I got to tell you something that Sheila told me about the state of Illinois. We'll talk later. I don't want to get you going.
Young
John
boys,
Boyce,
welcome.
what's going on, John Boyce? How you doing? John Boyce catfishing in the house. What's up, buddy? So I'll make notes when I'm out driving around with the wife or going to whatever place. I got a couple places that I just recently found over by my dad's house, so we'll try and make a ride out there. That's about 20 minutes, 20 minutes east of me. So then that's pretty much what I use. That and get baits in the water every chance you can. 100%.
Yeah,
Networking,
exactly.
use the apps, use your maps. Social media is a good one. We didn't talk too much about that. Yeah, I agree, Ryan. Ryan says Chicago sucks 100%. I don't even go in it anymore. Um, Social media, just do a search on Facebook if you're on Facebook. This is probably the best one. You're not going to find any local information on like TikTok or Instagram or even Twitter, no less. But on Facebook, you can find a page for your local lake or a lake that you like to fish, and the people who post pictures. You can make friends and network through that. I belong to a couple here, without naming a few. I don't always agree with the management of said pages, but they do come in handy. I've met a lot of good people in it, and I got a lot of good information as well. And if you're that type, you could really study their pictures and figure out where they're fishing, Lyle.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Uh
Oh my gosh. I got a message from Dockery.
oh.
See what happens when you hit the dock ropes, you old such and such, with a basket full of fish, crappie, and bluegill. I think
Don't share it, Lyle. You know what happens.
I know.
Especially a dockery message. You don't want to share that in public.
I don't want to share anything with Dockery. It would be bad. It would be bad. But it is what it is, you know. Sometimes you know.
Danny Stone says, I didn't get to bank fish much, but I think Crab Orchard Lake in Illinois may have a shot at becoming my new favorite lake.
Wow.
They
That's
were getting on a
great.
bunch of channel cats over there too, right?
Yeah. It's supposed to have a bunch of flatheads in it too, I think.
It's also got good crappie fishing from my understanding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of them lakes do. Wren
A lot.
Lake over there
Right.
has a lot of crappie and
Yep.
stuff
Lake of
like that.
Egypt, Rend Lake,
Egypt, yeah.
Crab Orchard. There's a couple else down there.
Yep. Sure are. So it's just
See,
a lot of fun.
or you can find new fishing spots just like that by saying, "Where do you get those walleyes, Mark?" Say, I got them right on the Fox in Port Barrington area. If you want to message me later, I'll tell you exactly where I got them. It's no secret. That's the one thing about small water, though, Lyle. A guy that me and Ryan both know, Brandon Ishkar, told me once, the Fox is so small, they're all community holes. So it really don't matter.
I'm sure that's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But what are you gonna do? It's your home water, you're gonna fish it, and so's everybody who lives around it.
Yep.
Danny says Wren Lake is definitely on his gonna go list. Hennigan's got him all fired up. Well, Wren is a pretty cool lake from what I understand. I've not ever fished it, but I know a lot of guys that have, and they all had great success there, and they all like going there. So,
There's a bunch of lakes I want to try down that way. I want to try San Chris, which is probably halfway down to like Wren, Lake of Egypt, Crab Orchard. I meant to go down and fish with Jerry for some crappie this year. I just couldn't make it because of a bunch of stuff, car repairs and some medical bills and stuff. But that's definitely on my go-to. I need to get out there and what are we going to fish? Pompetier?
probably.
We can fish over there this year. I'm definitely going to try and make that right out there during the spawn. And we'll go from there.
Lake Ozark, Truman.
I should get that crankbait trolling down pat by then, Lyle, and we'll be in business.
Cool.
We'll
Yeah,
sit back, burn a couple sticks, have some adult beverages, and just watch time go by and catch a bunch of fish. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm on board for all that. All of it.
I'm not going to be like Chad. I'll drag you out no matter how hot it is.
Dude. 105, 106. It was rough.
If I'm driving 12 hours, I'm getting you an ice pack and we're going.
Who was it that I watched here a while back that had a fan in their boat?
Betty had one. I got a fan in my boat now too.
What did they're still blowing hot air.
Hey, it helps.
It have to help, man. It was so hot when Chad D was here. It was unbelievable. We haven't had a summer like that in years, and the week they showed up was the hottest week of the whole summer.
Matt, no, dipsy divers are. I'm fishing in 5 feet of water max for the most part. I was in 3 feet of water for a while. Dipsy divers are for deep water. I didn't use them.
Danny Stone says, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Tom the Terror have muskie? I believe they do. That'd be a better question for Eric Massey. He fished it a lot more than I do, but I have heard that it does have. I've not ever caught one out of there, but I think it is.
Oh, I guess they got horsepower restrictions on Sandcrest, which is fine. I'll fish it. As long as I can power load when I leave and they can kick me out because I'll be done fishing. That's all.
Yeah, you're done. You're going home.
Yeah. I would never do anything like that.
Oh, yeah. Benoit Fishing Outdoors says, I'm getting a fan for our boat. I can understand that.
You know, I bought a solar one to take with me to Mendota Lyle. I was kind of disappointed it didn't really blow as hard as I was hoping. It was kind of nice because it would charge up the battery of solar, but I was not happy with it. So I returned that one. And I do have a garage. I have one from Rigid that uses my drill batteries, except I didn't want to drag all that charge and stuff out with me. But here locally, that's what I usually use. It's a great,
yeah,
great
I can see that.
The DeWalt ones are the same way too.
Are they? Mark Pursuit just got home from work. He joined us. Welcome there, Jerry. Glad to see you in here.
What's up, Jerry? How you doing, bud? Oh, Jerry liked my post of those walleyes, so he must be peeping on Facebook at work. I'm telling your boss, Jerry, if you're not.
There you go. Danny says, crap. I can't talk. I don't know why that'd stop you. He'd talk about you if he used it.
Jeff Beal says my truck's leaf spring's cracked. I should be back on the water next weekend. Cool. I hope you get that all taken care of. But that's just an example of how life gets in the way of our fishing addiction, right, Lyle?
That's exactly right. You know, when I went and checked the place out the other night that we found online, really beautiful place, but you have to go down a cut which looks to be like an old boat ramp. I'm not sure it is. It's been awful steep, and people walk up and down that to get to the water so they can fish. And there was guys down there with cast nets. One guy was catching crappie right where it comes over a low head water bridge, and it's like a waterfall, you know how it's almost. And he was in there catching crappie, and he kept them in a 5-gallon bucket full of water. And other people was doing different things. One guy walked out below the dam and walked way out in the middle of this river. It's the Sock River that makes up Tom de Terre and Tom de Terre, and it goes into Truman Lake. But I'd never been there before. Kind of a cool looking place, but there's no way I can get up and down to get to the water. And there's a bridge that goes across it, an old car bridge that they don't use anymore, and people stand up there on it fishing off the bridge. But my God, I just don't see how bringing a fish up from 80 or 90 feet from the water is a good thing. And if you don't want it, you're just going to toss him back.
Yeah, I don't think they'll survive
I'm
that.
not in.
When 80 or 90 feet, that's pretty tall. Around here, a lot of guys use those pier nets, you know, the big hoop nets on ropes. Those work pretty good if you're fishing off of bridges and stuff. So,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't use it for 80, 90 feet.
Long way down. I wasn't interested in doing any of the fishing off there. There were some guys, nobody caught anything off the bridge that I seen, but the people down next to the water there was. But like I say, rolling up and down where it was at, it is for younger people than me. It's just too tough for me to get up and down there. And I might be able to get down. Hell, I can roll down.
I was going to say you can fall down the hill.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
I don't know about climbing back up the way my legs are these days.
Sounds like Danny Stone was falling last weekend too, just not in the water. Don't mean he didn't fall.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, I know a show on Monday night where they were talking about like footwear for about 45 minutes, Lyle.
Yeah.
That you can probably get some tips from that show on what to wear to get up and down those hills.
I'll ask
him. He must have went to bed. I can't get him to come and chat anymore.
I know he got a new microphone too. He might be playing.
Oh, he did?
It's hard.
So what do you Lyle, let me ask the good folks in chat. Hey, I'm gonna ask everybody a favor. I'm going to make, like, you guys noticed that we used that bumper at the beginning of the show just to give people time to watch the ads. Unfortunately, there are ads at the beginning of the show, and we don't want anybody to miss the us beginning the show. It just seems counterintuitive and counterproductive. So Lila asked me last week if I can make something or put something together to start the show other than that nightmare-inducing one that we got now. So what I was thinking is if you guys want to send me pictures to my email address at mark@catfishandcrappie.com, just send me whatever pictures. It can be any fish you want. Don't let it be all. I'd prefer to have some panfish on there if you got any. Send them to me, and I'll include it at the beginning of the show in the bumper segment with a little bit of music, and hopefully we can get a whole bunch of them in there. I got 30 seconds to fill up. Optimally, be kind of cool to have, one every second or one photo every 2 seconds, and we can do something like that. So if you guys feel inclined, I'd appreciate it. Maybe me and Lyle. I was thinking that you guys don't want to look at me and Lyle any more than you already have to. So might as well look at you guys, the good people in the chat. So that'd be kind of cool. What do you think, Lyle? You like that idea?
I like that idea. I might have a couple I can send you and pick up a dead spot.
I'm trying to keep them from having to look at us any longer than they have to, Lyle. So
that's what they'll
we're going to exclude ourselves because this isn't just about us. This is about the people.
Are you sure?
All right, this is about Lyle. It's his show.
Ryan says, "I'll take a picture of my bait tank every week."
There you go. Just pull some bait out of there and stand in front of it with your hand. It's good enough for me. I don't ask no
Man,
questions. I just want to see pictures.
that's funny right there, Ryan. That really is.
Mm.
A doctor can send you a picture of his baskets full of crappie. There's something wrong with it.
So, Lyle, what do you got planned for Monday's show?
Nothing that I can think of right offhand.
All right. Well, what's going
I'm
on the
so
rest
tired right now. I can't think of what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know. Me and Lyle get together on Mondays, like, okay, what are we doing this week? So
That's true.
we come up with something. Usually it's something that one of us come across or is spending some time with. So
Yeah.
that's what we've been doing. If you guys have any ideas for guests you want to see on here, let us know. We'll do our best to get them on here. There's an awful lot of shows and podcasts out there this week. This nowadays, I should say. So it's kind of hard to get people on here, but I don't see why they wouldn't want to come on here and hang out with us. If any of you want to come on here and hang out, we'd be happy to have you too. Just contact Lyle and I'll let him tell you no. I mean, okay. Just kidding, folks.
We'll have a good time. We'll always have a good time anyhow. So
We got the bait shop tomorrow night over on Chad's channel, Field of Water. We got Stan on Friday nights, Jody on after that. I don't know what's going on the weekends, probably a tournament or something. If not, Danny Stone's usually going live. I think I'm usually on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Danny, go ahead and tell us when you're going live on the weekends for the most part. We got Catfish Weekly, Roger, and then back to us. So you guys know the drill. So.
Yep, and there's somebody got new videos out every day.
Yep, 100%.
Seems like Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays are real big days. I know there's videos released on Wednesdays and Fridays too, but it just seems like those are big days. There are lots of videos. I am so impressed, Mark, with the quality of videos. Some of these people come out, and I thought, man, it's going to be tough for them to get a foothold in this fishing industry making videos. But they've proven me wrong. They've done really well. I have on purpose picked up several of the startup guys to be on Catfish Weekly because I thought they had a shot at doing great things. I watched a new to me video thing tonight and I was not impressed at all. They probably won't get asked to be on a show from me. And it's not that they done anything illegal, immoral, or anything else. I'm just not bringing prop liners on one of my shows because there is people that do that release the big fish. This guy didn't done nothing. They all went in the box. That doesn't impress me. You're not showing me anything there. If you don't care nothing about the natural resource we got, you and me probably won't get along very well.
Yeah, responsible harvest, folks. That being said, we do also understand that times are getting tough because of the inflation and stuff in the country. So we understand, but you're probably better off not bragging about it on social media or in videos.
And if you got a big fish and you plan on releasing it, and something happens where it gets deep hooked, or I've seen other fish in a box bend them where they was just pumping blood out, like unbelievable amount. Those fish aren't going to make it. You got to harvest them fish. You just have to. A deep hook fish is never going to survive. You get once got a hook in its gills, it's not going to survive. You might turn it loose and it'll probably swim away, but tomorrow it'll be floating upside down somewhere. Harvest that fish. Don't let it go to waste. But be responsible about what you do. Those big breeding fish, we need to pass on those quality genes so we have large fish for our children and grandchildren to catch some.
100%.
My opinion.
Matt's reminding us too that Dustin over at Snagging Night Live is on after Chad's show too.
Oh yeah.
Can't forget about that. Lyle, I might go fishing tomorrow. How about you?
I got to mow the grass tomorrow. So if I do, if I don't get some sleep tonight, I ain't gonna be doing much. I'm telling you. I ordered a new mold the other day, Mark.
I knew what?
A new mold to cast jigs with. I had won one from Dave Lehman on one of his shows, a 132nd Pro model that had 7. I like that. So, pardon me. I wanted to cast some 1/16, so I ordered one just like it 1/16. And what did they send me? A 132nd. So I had two 136. I didn't want. They ended up having to get the 1/16 again. They finally come in. I wanted to try it out, and I got done mowing my daughter's yard today, and I was just so tired. And I didn't want to go traipsing through the house, the grass all over me. So I decided I would get my stuff out, and I was going to do a couple of jigs. Well, I done about 250.
We'll talk after the show about that mold. We got to find out exactly what it is.
Before I got done, I had been on that lawnmower for a while because she got a big yard, and I couldn't hardly walk. And I got the vacuum sweeper, the shop back out, and I go up and down my legs and stuff, get the grass off me, and crawl in here and take a shower. I come in here and sit down. What are you going to do? It is what it is. But
Ryan brings up a good point. He says, "You ever gut hook a bullhead, cut the line, put it in your bait tank? They swallow that thing up somehow. Yeah, and they'll spit it out too, just like he's saying in the other comment. You know, I do that a lot with Aberdeen hooks and bluegill. I'll just cut the line, I'll throw it in the bucket. When I get home, I'll stick it in a bait tank, and when I go to clean that water, I don't have any dead bluegill." But I'll find those little brass Aberdeen hooks at the bottom of the tank.
So are they coming? They spitting them out, or are they going the other direction?
They work them out somehow. Those hooks are whole, Lyle.
Wow, and they're not deteriorating.
No, they're not in a tank long enough to rust.
That's cool. That's cool to know. If the little fish can do it, the big ones can too. So that's pretty neat. Glad to know that. Had fun tonight, Mark.
I did too, Lyle, as always.
It's been a blast. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys coming in and being in chat and watching our show. If you have any topics that you'd like us to hit, please message one of us, and we'll be happy to try to do that. Other than that, keep your lines tight.
Yeah, send me some pictures, folks. I'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully, I'll have enough to get the new bumper set up for next week. I think that'll be kind of cool.
I know somebody's got some pictures they could send you.
All right, Lyle, why don't you do that? But
no, Brandon and Betty.
Oh yeah, they got plenty of pictures. They'll send us pictures. Either that, or I'll just steal them from her. She sends them all to me anyway. So
there you go. Yeah, we'll get some for Dockery put on there.
But we don't want it to be the Betty and Brandon show, no matter how much Betty would like it that way.
I got one Katie sent me here a while back, but I'd ask her before I'd let you use it.
Oh.
Make sure it's okay. What's Parker got? Probably like Lyle when he eats shrimp. Oh, with the tail. He just passes. Parker, you're just mean.
On that note, Lyle, what do you say we end the show?
I think that's it. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week. Go fishing, folks. Bye.